say again, please?
Zimmerman.
Could you spell that for me, please?
Z-I-M-M-R-M-A-N.
Ladies and gentlemen, all rise, please.
Oh, no.
The First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Mary Todd Lincoln.
Thank you. Please be seated. Oh, please be seated. Thank you. Thank you. That's so very kind of you. Thank you very much. Pleasure. What are all these people doing here?
Well, I'm not sure, ma'am, but they all seem to have invitations to be here today.
Invitations? For today? Well, we had a reception just 3 days ago. We should not have another one until next week. Where's the president now?
Well, I'm not sure, ma'am.
What do you mean you're not sure? Aren't you his bodyguard?
Yes, ma'am.
Why aren't you with him?
Well, he sent me up here to fetch some papers, and that's when I found all these folks sitting here.
Why didn't you have one of the house servants receive them?
Well, there was no one else around, ma'am. I figured I should stick around and keep an eye on them until someone else came by. Besides, ma'am, there's one gentleman I've got my doubts about.
Which one is he?
Fellow in the black right over here.
Well, leave that boy alone and come in here this instant. These good people have come all the way from Chicago, Illinois to meet with you. The least you could do is give him a few moments of your time. Oh.
Well, hello there, folks. I'm Abraham Lincoln. Certainly is a pleasure to meet with you here today, though none of us seem to have known you were coming. I know I certainly didn't.
Could you please tell me what you are doing rocking around this house without your boots on?
I was playing hide-and-go-seek with Tad. It's kind of hard to sneak up on someone in this old house with your wooden-heeled boots on. Gives me away every time.
Isn't that the truth? I tell you, ladies, if your boast caused you 1/4 of the anguish that I suffer at the hands of my husband, you have my deepest sympathies. He is always up to some sort of tomfoolery.
Mary, you know, it's just my little way of dealing with all the seriousness that piles up around here.
Well, your timing is most inappropriate sometimes.
Well, that very well may be, but it gives me the greatest relief when I need it the most. I laugh because I must not cry. Oh, but the best thing I ever heard in church is when this preacher was saying that the Savior was the only perfect man who ever lived in the world. And also there was no record in the Bible or any other place of a perfect woman having lived. Just then the preacher was interrupted when one woman shouted out, "I know of a perfect woman, heard about her every day for the past 6 years." Preacher looked a little perplexed and asked the woman, "Who was she?" "My husband's first wife." There's so many obstacles and challenges that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Such as this war, for instance. So many men have been killed or wounded. So many widows left to fend for themselves and their children. Their children left unprotected from the temptations and vices of the world. Growing up wild, running loose in the streets, causing more mischief than their tender years should allow. I did the very best I knew how. If the end should bring me out right, then what was said against me won't amount to a thing. If the end should bring me out wrong, then 10,000 angels swearing I was right won't make any difference. I can see in your faces you are my angels. It is for you in your time to come to reverse the maxim to say that right makes might. If each of us can remove the bigotry in our own lives, then it will be rid of in all of us. I'm going to take my wife for a little carriage ride.
What?
Yes, going to take my wife on a private little jaunt around Washington and whisper sweet nothings in her ear.
Abraham Lincoln, not in front of all of these people. How many times have I told you
care?
not
They
to
all
talk
know the
about such
deepest
things
parts of
in
my
this
soul
company?
anyway.
Goodness
Why
gracious.
shouldn't they know? I love my wife. No, I mean it. I intend to shout it from the top of my lungs as we go wheeling through the town.